guys, it's Jen over at worldofjencraft.com, and this is today's card. It is actually one of 3 that my card class here locally will be making this week, actually tomorrow night. So I thought I would share all 3 cards with you. So this is one of them, and then this one is another one that we'll be doing, as well as this one. These are all using the Lovely Words Thinlits dies and the Lovely Inside Out, along with the Pick a Pattern DSP. I absolutely love this combination together. So I thought I would do a video for each of the cards, and yeah, so I'm gonna do a video for each of the cards. Oh goodness. Let's get started with the supplies, even though I told you half of them already, and then I'll show you how I put the card together. So it is Lovely Inside and Out, super cute stamp set, and it is paired with the Lovely Words dies, and you get a heart, an oval, and the circle that says hugs. I also used the Layering Circles dies, a basic black stamp pad, and a Versamark because we are embossing on it. So we also need some Stamp Emboss, the white embossing powder, and I did use my fine tip glue pen for some of the gluing that we'll be doing with these circles here. For cardstock and paper, this doesn't always work out for me. Sometimes I think I'm being a little, you know, maybe saving time and putting everything all in one package, and then my little pieces stick in there. Anyways, so I started off with a 5.5 by 8.5 basic black as my card base, and you will score it at 4 1/4. And then I already pre-cut a 3-inch scalloped circle, if you can see that. Maybe I'll move this over. 3-inch scalloped circle, a 2 3/4 circle, a 1 3/4 by 5 1/4 strip. For Whisper White cardstock, you are going to need a 4 by 5 1/4, a 3 3/4 by 5 for the inside, and then a 2 3/4 circle. Oh my goodness, this is a little more painful than usual. Let's see, Flirty Flamingo, 2 7/8 circle, and then a 3/4 circle, and not a 1/4 inch. Where'd it go? Oh, and a 1 inch and a 3/4 inch. Okay, there you go. That's that. Then we are going to need crushed curry. I finally got my crushed curry, yay! So I use a 3/4 circle and a 1/4 inch circle. And for my 1 inch and my 3/4 inch, I did use my punches for those. And because I still don't have a 1/4 inch circle, I used the little teeny tiny cherry die from the Frozen Treats framelits and just cut off the stem. And Emerald Envy is a 1 inch circle and a 1/4 inch circle. The Pick a Pattern DSP is 1 5/8 by 5 1/4. And we'll be using this side. So let's get to the embossing first. And I know I have shown you how to do this, and actually we're not going to emboss first, we're going to cut, because the way I did this is I started off with this circle first, and then I put the hugs die on top of it and ran it through my Big Shot. And the trick to this is just to keep your edges even all the way around. It's not going to be a very thick edge, maybe an 1/8 of an inch. So just make sure that your edges are even when you're doing this and pushing it through. The magnetic platform really does help keep this in place as you're rolling it through. So I highly suggest that. I actually suggest that for most of your die cutting. I find that it just holds all of my dies in place nicely, and it works. So I guess if it didn't work, I wouldn't use it, right? All right, so after running this through, you're going to end up with this, which, like I said, there's just this little teeny tiny line that is going to hold all of this together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Versamark, get this out of the way here, I'm going to run my Versamark, and I'm just going to tap it over just to make sure you're covering your whole entire word and all of your edges with this. And this is just because you're going to want that embossing powder to stick. Now I am going to, if I can pick this up without taking some of the stuff off, this is kind of tricky, sorry about that. So I'm going to flip this just because, so my embossing powder does not stick to where I just put the Versamark down. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cover this generously with my embossing powder. And I'm just going to pick it up, move this aside, and then I'm going to run my heat gun over the top of this. Once this is cooled off, we are going to repeat the same process that we did the first time. So again, you're going to take your Versamark and make sure it's all covered. And then again, we're going to cover it with our embossing powder, and we're going to heat set it again. And the reason I do this is the first layer is okay, but the second layer kind of melts down into that first layer, and then I get a really, really pretty gloss to it and a really nice dimension to it. So you can do just one if you would like, but I prefer to do it twice. So I'm going to go ahead and heat this up, and we'll have a really pretty piece afterwards. All right, so here is your finished piece. There it is. Isn't that really cool? I just love that gloss and the dimension that it gives. So then what we're going to do is I'll go ahead and bring out my basic black circle, and we're going to take our fine tip glue pen and run it around your edge and on the words because you want it all to stick down. Now I will say you only need a little teeny tiny fine line of the glue pen, and you don't want it squishing out onto the sides because this does dry shiny or glossy. So you want to make sure that your line is really fine so you don't have it all squishing out and, you know, not ruining your piece, but you'd be happier with it. And I suppose, now I haven't tried this, but you could probably take some of this out of the bottle, like squeeze it out onto a scrap piece of paper or something, and maybe take a sponge or something like that sort and blot it up and then adhere it, you know, put it down onto your piece. That would kind of avoid some of the squishing out that you might get with it. So I'm not going to do this whole entire word, but just little bits and pieces of it just to make sure I get the majority of it to stay down. My finger's already sticking, and you kind of have to work quick too because it does dry really fast the less that you put on your piece. So I'm just going to go ahead and hold this down and make sure that it sticks. And it might not cover your whole entire black circle, and that's okay too. Because as long as it's covering the majority of it. I did find that my last one I didn't have it completely covering the whole entire thing, and I was okay with that. So, okay, so we're going to let this continue to dry, and we'll stick our little circles. Let me bring my card back here into the screen, and then I'm going to take my 4 1/4, or my 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to go ahead and stick all my little circles on. So the pink Flirty Flamingo is just going to come up here at the top, and then, you know, actually, I take that back because that's how I did it the first time. But I think with how we want to lay out our circles, it would probably be best if we stuck this on first and then placed our circles so we kind of have a better placement for them. And forgive my big gun. I'm not sure what happened to my little tape runner, so I'm sure it's somewhere around here. Cleaned up, I put things away, so It's probably where it belongs. Oh, goodness. All right, so that's just going to go on top of there, and then we're going to just put some on here, and then that's going to go centered into your Whisper White, like so-ish. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to adhere our little circles onto here. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is go ahead and finish layering and stacking our circles together. So the hugs is just going to go on top of the Flirty Flamingo. And it's going to go centered in here. And then that is going to go on top of our basic black scalloped circle. And I love how just this peak of the basic black comes out from underneath of it. All right, so then I'm going to go ahead and pop up our circle onto the center of our card. And then I put my hugs at kind of an angle, just for a little interest. That's going to go right here. And I realized that, that should still stamp fine. So then we're going to go ahead and stamp on And Kisses. And that's just going to go in the basic black. And I'm just going to pull this down a little bit so I can kind of see it, make sure it's still in this grain. And that's just going to get stamped right here. Cute, cute. And then the last step, well, not last step, so we need to cut off the edges of these little circles, since we just want part of that on there. And that's pretty simple, just to use your scissors for that. And then we're going to bring our card base in here, and remember we scored it and folded it at the 4 1/4, and then this is just going to go on top. And that's going to go centered in here, like so. And guess what? We are done with the card. So let me get my bone folder, make sure I have a nice little crease in here. So there it is. That's our card. Isn't that cute? I really hope that my card class loves this as much as I do. I really had fun making this card. So remember, the next couple days I will be also posting a video to create this card and a video to create this card. And this card, I know we've already done the random stamping, but I decided to go ahead and try it again in this stamp set and have my card class have a go at it. I can't wait to see what they come up with. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. I will have a PDF for you to download that will have the dimensions on it, if you wish. Thanks again. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.